and introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. So I am Susie. I am one of the interns at Sol Ross. I'm also the assistant clinic manager. So whenever you come into the clinic, you register, I will be the person that will be contacting you and letting you know that your application has been received, and I will assign a counselor to you.
Alrighty, so again, let's get started. So the purpose of this seminar is to discuss mental health strategies, okay? And first and foremost, I think just talking about mental health is, a positive step towards, getting the help that people need, because I feel like sometimes talking about mental health is taboo, meaning, you don't talk about it, you don't talk about your feelings and your thoughts. So again, I really do appreciate you guys being here today, and again, taking that first step to just even talking about this topic. Okay, so there is a quote here. Hold on, it's a little bit hard to see. Give me a quick second. Oh, I'm trying to move the screen, but it's not moving. Can you read the quote, Miss Susie?
Yes, hang on. My computer is being not very helpful. So I'm actually just on my phone right now. So I'll read the quote. And it says, the only thing more exhausting than having a mental illness is pretending like you don't. Having a mental illness in itself is exhausting. Sometimes putting on pants, taking a shower, just getting up out of bed is an impossible task, but then having to pretend like there's nothing wrong, you put in extra effort that is beyond exhausting.
No, yes, I definitely agree with that quote, because I don't know if you realize that this time last year, a lot of us didn't know that it was going to be our last week of, what we call normalcy. Like we were going about our day-to-day schedule, and then the pandemic hit, and I feel like it just affected everyone, in different ways. So with what Susie said, I do want all of you to know that your emotions, your concerns are valid. And then recently, I mean, we also had the winter storm here in Texas, which, added some stress or some worry, to a lot of you. And, we just want to make sure that, you have at least some strategies that you can utilize at home, or the resources that you guys need, in case that you do want to seek out that help. Okay, because again, there is so many changes that happen within the past year that I feel like there's still changes happening. Right now, currently at the college and at Sul Ross, we're not seeing students face to face. So that was a huge adjustment, to everyone, not seeing students, in our offices, working from home, taking online classes. I know that is so different. As an advisor, I normally don't even recommend online until, you've had some experience with taking courses. So I think a lot of you are very brave, because you took the step, to enroll in college and come, during a pandemic, because it just comes with its whole new set of challenges. College and mental health both, you know, they come with their set of, stressors and, things that you're not expecting. And then add a pandemic to it, add a winter storm, add other factors that, could just make things a little bit more harder. It is hard to just say, I'm fine, I'm okay, when in reality, sometimes it's okay to say that out loud, that we're not fine and that we're not okay. Okay, so I do just want to make sure that you guys know that just saying that out loud, like, I need help, I don't feel like myself, I feel tired all the time. Those are very valid concerns that you guys have. Okay. So now here in the next slide, again, what this quote is talking about is, caring for others. I feel like sometimes the quote that I use the most is, we need to take care of ourselves. Okay. And you can't pour from an empty cup. That's the one that I always use. Oh, sorry, there's a little bit of an echo. Okay, so again, we need to make sure that, again, you are looking at signs. So what are some of the typical signs that we've talked about, that it's tougher for you to get out of bed in the morning, that you're losing interest in activities that you once, would motivate you, to go out. And I know right now going out is difficult with the pandemic. And it's been, again, a huge adjustment trying to transition from what we knew to being at home. So again, we need to take care of ourselves in order to, take care of others. I'm a mom personally, and I think that's so true that I feel like I need to take care of myself to be able to take care of my daughter. It goes hand in hand, even though it might not seem like that sometimes, it really is true, to really, really take a look at, what is going on with you. Okay.
Yeah, like Karina said, is if you can get out of bed, how could you take care of your child? How could you help your mom? How could you help whoever it is that you help if you're not well yourself, right? So like the quote said, COVID-19 is actually one of the things that really taught us on how taking care of ourselves is helping taking care of others, right? If you don't wear your mask, if you're not well, you could get someone else sick. So it's the same idea. Take care of yourself so you could actually be better able to take care of others. So I'm pretty sure everyone have heard of self-care, but heard of the term self-care does not mean that you know what self-care means. So here are some of the things that you could do for self-care. And I want you to take this moment to think of what do you do for yourself? Because really that's what self-care means. And with that note, I want to tell you what self-care is not. Self-care is not doing what other people are doing. So just because someone else is doing something that works for them does not mean it's self-care for you. So if someone runs a marathon and you think, you know what, self-care is running, but you're not a runner, then you're not helping yourself, you're hurting yourself. So self-care is your body. Pretty much self-care is take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of your spirit, take care of yourself. So, drinking water is a way to take care of your body, but you don't have to drink a gallon of water a day just because someone else drinks a gallon of water a day. Setting realistic expectations of yourself. So let's say right now you have a C. So you're really upset because your average is a C. Well, if you say, you know what, self-care is I'm going to do everything I can, and at the end of the semester, I'm going to have an A. Well, it's not very realistic considering that you're already halfway. Could it be done? Maybe, but that's not self-care because you're putting yourself goals that may be unrealistic. Maybe just getting a B if you put in the effort, that's self-care. You setting off realistic expectations. Meditating, being in touch with yourself, spending alone time, spending time with your loved ones, maybe a single phone call or even a text or even a comment on Facebook. That is something that you can do for self-care, because you might feel that, you know what, that's not very personal, but it does increase that connection with the other ones, with your loved ones, with the people that add to your life. Avoid drugs and alcohol. There has been a joke through the whole pandemic. Well, if I drink alcohol, then I'm not going to get sick, right? Because alcohol cures the virus. Well, that's not necessarily true, right? Because it lowers your immune system and it makes you more vulnerable to being sick. So avoiding drugs and alcohol, which alcohol is actually a type of drug, is a way to take care of your body, take care of yourself. Make time for yourself. A lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say, well, now with the pandemic, we have all the time in the world. I don't know where, because since the pandemic started, I have less time than I ever had, right? And I'm pretty sure it's true for you too. And that take time for yourself, because being at home and not having anything to do does not mean that you're taking time for yourself. Maybe just, watch a show that you like to watch. I've been wanting to watch this. That's something that's for yourself. I haven't heard from this person. Let me reach out. That's time for yourself. I'm just going to sit here and put lotion on my hands and make sure that, like, because I've been feeling my hands really ashy. That's taking care of yourself. Or even taking a shower. You know what? I want to actually spend extra time in the shower, especially if you were one of the ones that lost water. Taking a shower has a new meaning, taking a warm shower. And that is something that's for you, something that you would enjoy. Listening to music. You know what? I like listening to music. I like this artist. So listen to that music. Do the things that you enjoy.
Yes, and I like that Susie mentioned things that don't cost any money, in relation to you spending more, because she's absolutely right. When it comes to self-care, sometimes there can be that misconception that you have to do a specific thing. I personally believe everything in moderation. Like, like she talked about watching your favorite show. That's a good example because I am a TV person. And I'm guilty too of binge watching, whole, show and all seasons like within one night. But then I'm an instant regret in the morning because I'm so tired. So again, just be very careful with self-care, and it's a balance. And again, everything in moderation. So, and again, also, I really like that she mentioned what works for you. I really do believe in that. We're not, that's the good part about us, that we all think differently. We all like different things. So you do what works for you. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't explore, because what if you're like, well, I don't really know what my interests are right now. This is the time to explore and look for healthy ways to figure out, oh, like maybe running's not for me, but weightlifting is, or binge watching or watching a show about, crime isn't for me, but I like romantic comedies, or, again, you're just going to find what works for you. Okay. And regards to the meditation, and Susie's going to talk about that in just a second. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is also a great way for self-care, and it's research based. So I really, really do hope that, especially in that section, you guys pay attention, because again, mindfulness, I like anything research based, meaning there have been studies done and there's proven facts, that this can help you, especially if you're not feeling like yourself, or again, you're just noticing, little things that are going on with you. Okay. So I'm
You
gonna
know
see
what,
more.
Karina, before you move forward, there's something here in the slide that I wanted to emphasize. And I feel like we all been guilty of it. And this is completely the opposite of self-care. And it's saying yes when you really want to say no. There's a quote that I saw. I don't remember who said it, but it says, if you don't say yes truthfully, you're saying yes with anger, resentfully. So somebody tells you, hey, do you think you can help me? But you have so much going on, but you don't want to be the bad guy. And you say, yeah, I'll help you. And you instantly regret it. So you're building yourself that resentment towards yourself and towards others. Because, oh, why they always have to look for me? Why can't they go to somewhere else? Oh, now I have to do this instead of doing what I have to do. So really, it avoids so much by simply saying no. Especially because sometimes you say yes, knowing you can't, and then later you cancel last minute because you really can't do it. And then that person is mad at you. Then you're mad at yourself. You feel guilty for doing that, and it avoids so much simply saying no from the beginning. Because it completely, it messes up relationships, and it really does. It messes up your self-compassion, because now there's no bigger enemy than yourself. You don't have a bigger enemy than yourself. No one is harder on you than you are on yourself. So learn to say no. Practice with little things. You don't have to say no if you one that always says yes, yes, yes. Maybe practice with little things where, I'm not going to share this fry. I'm not going to share my fries. So simple, right? Or I'm not going to do this. If you want, try with something small until eventually you could work to the big things, because everything takes time. You can't expect change to happen overnight. Like I mentioned before about realistic expectations. Yeah, I want this. This is as a result. But what is something that I could do right now to change something? Something realistic. Maybe say no to changing the channel because you're watching the TV. maybe saying, oh, you know what, wait 10 minutes for me to finish this game. So you're still saying yes, technically, but at your own terms. So that is something that you could work on if you're the type that always says yes. Because like I mentioned on that quote, when you don't say yes truthfully, you're saying yes resentfully. And that really has a very negative effect on you and on your relationships.
Yeah, I think that's so true. The boundary setting is important. If that's something that you're struggling with, that is, those little steps that Susie mentioned, I think that's good. Like, start small and then, grow from there. What are you comfortable with? Because sometimes I know it's hard for us to say no. I know sometimes, that's happened to me when my mom, my siblings, my friends are asking me for different things and I have just so much going on. How do you say yes to everything? You need to, again, take care of yourself first and say, you know what, right now I have a lot going on. Maybe this is where you can find help over here, or, and like she said, not saying no, but in a way where it's comfortable for you. And that's what I do. I always refer to somebody else that could help. I can't help, but maybe this is where you can find help. And again, that works personally for me, but again, you're going to find what I mentioned earlier, what works for you in regards to boundary setting. And I think that is important too. Now, planning a schedule. And I know this sounds like, how is this related to a mental health strategy? Well, I feel like, again, a lot of us, and I know this is referred to a lot, our new normal. I mean, we had to make so many adjustments, guys. I don't know about you, but again, us just working from home. I feel like my home right now is my office, my house, my everything. That's where I spend the most time. So I had to really adjust my schedule. And yes, I still work from 8 to 5 or 9 to 6, but just planning a routine that helps me, stay, on top of it. Because again, eventually, the hope is that once this pandemic is over and we do, reopen, what is that going to look like if we didn't have, a schedule? Having a schedule helps a lot. And what I have here on this slide is just some tips for you guys, something small. Like we mentioned earlier, starting small is going to be the biggest one. Like I'm going to wake up at 7, brush my teeth, wash my face, and, do 10 minutes of a workout. Okay, you're going to start small. And then eventually, when you're more comfortable, you're going to add a little more and more and more to your routine. Now, making swaps, I honestly, again, make sure that you make swaps that are healthy. Like it's not something that you're overdoing, everything in moderation, planning ahead. I think that's one of the reasons why I like being an advisor because I like planning, I like schedules, I like structure. I am a person that I feel like I'm all over the place. And if I don't have a schedule, you lost me. Like you really did. Like I have to have a specific at 8 to 8:30, we're going to do this. From 9 to 9:30. Again, I don't know about you guys, but that really helps me a lot and I'm a visual person when I see it. I have so many alarms on my phone, to be honest with you. Like for today, I had to make sure that, I was ready I honestly don't get ready very often. That is something I haven't added to my schedule. And no, and I had to do that today. So I said, I do want to get ready for the seminar. So what can I do? I have to wake up a little bit earlier. I want to do my hair, do my makeup. So that's something that wasn't in my routine, but I had to plan ahead. So what did that look like? I had to go to sleep early too. That was also something that I needed to do in order to be here today. Okay. So again, just those little steps. And what Susie had mentioned earlier, making time for things that you enjoy. Like, yes, you should, plan for work or, your courses, plan time to study and, time for your assignments, go to tutoring. But again, make sure you do also add that balance, that self-care into your planning of a routine, because that's going to be essential. It is very hard to be robotic, guys, and just be like, go, 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 go. Okay. Because I know sometimes it can feel like that. And that's what we want to try to avoid, even if it's something small, like, I'm going to watch TV with my family, when I'm done with my homework for at least an hour, or, we're going to go take a walk. around the neighborhood for 30 minutes, after I get out of work at 5. Again, those are things that you can add to your routine slowly but surely, that again, it's not a big change, but it's a step towards, getting back to that, hopefully new norm. Or I don't want to say new normal, right? But what we used to have before the pandemic. Now, what I have here is actually, oh, it doesn't, oh, there we go. I don't know if you can still see my screen. Can y'all see it? Where it says planning your routine?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is a guide, and again, I'm a visual learner and I like everything to be guided, because sometimes it's like, well, wait, well, what does she talk about? This is something that you can go back and refer to. So when you make a routine or you're starting to think about it, these are some questions that you should be asking yourself, okay, when it comes to planning. Then at the bottom, I like that
Ms.
there is.
Jimenez,
Yes. Mhm.
your screen shows the PowerPoint.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me stop share. Hold on. Let me go to this right here. All right, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is what I was talking about. So this is, again, a very structured form that's going to help you plan out a routine. Again, something simple and to the point, nothing too complicated. But again, I like guided because I want to know if I'm doing it right. I'm that kind of a person. I will be like, am I doing it right? So again, there's no right or wrong way for this one. You just answer the questions as honestly as you can, and then you refer to the calendar and make a schedule again that works for you when it comes to planning. Okay, and I really do like that it has a support section. Like we talked about, and that's something I learned, getting my master's in counseling. We are social beings, guys. So being away for a year already, has taken a toll on us. So it's very important to have those support systems, whether it's our family, our friends, our coworkers, or a counselor that you are seeing. Again, this is very, very important to have some support in that too. Okay. Now, again, also remember to reward yourself. Do something just for you, something just for fun. I remember when the pandemic started, something I started doing was cruising. I don't know if you know what that is or not, but cruising, I remember, and I have fond memories of my sisters. We would just take a drive and listen to loud music, put the windows down, and just, drive around town. That's what that was my little reward to me and my family. So it would be me, my husband, my daughter, just drive around and not get down anywhere, because again, we want to be safe. So again, just those little things that you add to, have some joy and, a reward that will, it won't hurt anybody. And again, I do want to refer to things that are, free. It's nothing that's going to cost anything or take up too much of y'all's time. Okay, so I'm going to go back.
Ms. Jimenez, when you mentioned that, it reminded me of something I do. Every time I have to turn in a paper, an assignment, as soon as I turn it in, I get myself something that I like, either a slice of cake, or I go to Sonic and get me a slush. They have like the happy hour, or I get myself an ice cream or anything, or I think it's the Pumba that is called. They have like the ices, anything that would make me happy at the moment. It's like, you know what, I deserve this. I did so much work, and it's a routine for me. I don't really eat sweets and stuff like that throughout the year, but whenever I do something big that it had took a toll on me, I say, you know what, I need to do something for me. And it's a routine for me. I mean, not every day, right? But whenever I turn in something, it's like, you know what, I'm going to go to Sonic and get me this. I'm going to go to Dairy Queen and get me this. I'm going to go to Tacumba. You know what, I'm going to make me some chocolate covered strawberries. It's still something, and you mentioned free. This isn't free, right? It's not very expensive though. And it's something that's really, that makes me feel like, you know what, like I really deserve this. Like I'm getting this for me. Like it don't matter what anybody says. It does not matter what the scale says. It doesn't matter what anything. I deserve this, and I'm going to do this for me.
No, yes. So guys, I really, really do recommend this. Again, taking the small steps. So this is a strategy that you guys could definitely do. That again, it's just going to build when we go back to reopening eventually. again, you already have your plan set. Okay, let me go to the next one. And we talked about, again, self-care. Self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. So again, make sure to check in with yourself. Self-care is all about you. All right, now I do want to talk about this because I think it's something so small that makes a big difference. Expressing gratitude, guys, just in that alone is going to make a world of a difference when you're not feeling like yourself. So what is gratitude? Again, we think of being thankful. So again, something so small has a big impact. And there's actually been, again, I like my research, studies have shown that when you express gratitude, this can help you overcome trauma and build resiliency. I'm not sure if you're not familiar with the word resiliency, but I think that's what we are trying to do right now, during these difficult times, that even though this is happening, we are still making it work. Again, you being here at the college, you decided that your goals, your academic goals, are important to you, regardless of a pandemic or not. And I think that is resiliency. You're not going to let anything get in your way. So expressing that gratitude, again, to your support systems. I remember when I graduated, I wrote a letter to my mom because, she was my number one supporter. Again, I don't know if you have somebody that's your cheerleader cheering you on, but that made me feel so good to let her know, like, hey, because of you, I'm here. And everything that it took to get here, the sleepless nights studying, the 20-page papers, it was tough at times. And for my program, I remember traveling. So, and I had a full-time job too. So again, I know some of you, you don't have that time. You have families, you have work. And again, sometimes it can just get overwhelming. So just expressing that gratitude or doing that at the beginning of your day and making a small list, 5 things that I'm grateful for today. And again, it really puts things into perspective when you are, again, maybe struggling a little bit. Like, I felt really down, but, I have my mom, I have my daughter, I have a job, I have, right now I'm studying, and I'm actually studying as well. I'm studying to take a test, and, just being grateful that I have a roof over my head. Again, everything that happened with the winter storm. I think that's when I was really, really expressing gratitude, because I was just like, wow, like in 1 week, all of us learned how important the little things are, how light, having water, having food, all of those things that are essential to our daily lives. And it just, in a week, it was gone. So again, expressing gratitude goes a long way. And again, it's something so small, but it makes a big, big impact.
Another gratitude practice, like Ms. Jimena said, the 5 things that you're grateful for, is actually great practice to do like daily, to do like a daily gratefulness list at night, before going to bed, because it'll put you in a different mood. And with everything going on, I guarantee you most of us are suffering from insomnia. A lot of us are either waking up in the middle of the night, having nightmares, having trouble falling asleep. This is the normal. This is normal for most of us at this time. Well, at least within the past year, if you weren't suffering from it before. And it would definitely help you. So just think of 3 things you're positive, or you're grateful for that day. It could be that you didn't burn the food, or it could be that you finally turned in that paper, or you know what, my professor called on me and he liked my answer, or anything. Oh, the food tasted delicious. Oh, you know what, I thought I didn't have gas, and then I look and I had a half a tank. It could be, oh, I found $10 in my pants. Oh, look, my pants fit, my shirt fit. Anything that you're grateful for that day, because there's so much to be grateful for every day that we usually take for granted. So just pay attention to those things every day. And before bed, when you get there and when your mind starts running, because that's what mind does, it runs. So when your mind starts running, refocus your mind to think of what you're grateful for that day.
Yes, and again, these are just some strategies that we are sharing, but the one I found is actually writing a letter specifically to someone. Okay, so just a quick, thank you for, like I mentioned with my mom. It was short and sweet, but it was so impactful, to her and me to know that she helped me throughout my journey, to become a counselor. And it just made me feel good that I could make her feel good. Like, mom, like, thank you so much for being there for me through thick and thin. I really do appreciate everything you've done. Because of you, I'm here. And again, saying those things out loud, it really, really does help, guys. Now, again, one of my favorite strategies. This is hands down top 5, one of my favorites, because journaling, number one, it's private. That's the best thing that I like about it. It's personally helped me as well. Journaling, what you can do, and when I mean private, is that you can buy a notebook or you can open up a Word document, or whatever is easier for you. And there is no right or wrong way to journal. Okay, this is the easiest form of you expressing yourself, your thoughts, your emotions. Okay, and not only do I like that it's private, that it's easy, you can get rid of it too when you're finished. So you can go to Word and delete it. Or if you have a spiral, full of your thoughts and emotions, and you're just like, I'm ready to move on, you can throw it away, or you can burn it, or you can tear it up into little pieces. So that is very self-healing when you get it out, because again, a lot of us, I think we are taught to not talk about feelings and emotions. So this is a way for you to express everything without judgment, without anybody saying anything. It's just you and your thoughts, your emotions. So I really do like that. And what I like about journaling is that there's a lot of, again, I like guided too. There's guided self-care journaling. There is guided gratitude prompts that you can do. So again, and those of you that maybe are struggling with writing, this can be a good way for you to practice that also. Practice makes perfect. So if, composition 1 or composition 2 is, been a struggle for you, maybe this is something that you can incorporate, and it just kind of like 2 birds with 1 stone kind of a thing, where you're practicing writing and you're still able to just express yourself freely, and you can do it as many times as you want. You can do it on a daily basis, a weekly basis. Now, what I also like about journaling too is that you can go back and see your progress. I've done that before personally, and I'm like, wow, I was in such a different place when I started this journal, that I have grown so much as a person, like going back and reading everything that I went through. And I specifically did this when my dad passed away. He passed away when I was 17. I was a senior in high school, and I was my English teacher who told me, you know what, how about you write, what you're feeling? And that made a world of a difference, her supporting me during that tough time, and just writing it out. And I did. I went back and I read it like a few years later, and I realized, like, wow, like I am in such a different place now. And it was a tough time for me, and just reading it, I'm like, I don't know, it just made a big difference reading it back. So again, if this is something that can help you, again, you do what works for you specifically. I wrote personally once a week because that's what I had time for. But if you have time to write in when you wake up or when you go to sleep, again, everything is, designed to you. These strategies, you're going to figure out what works for you, because what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for somebody else. Okay, so always keep that in mind.
And to add to the journaling, just like Ms. Jimena says, this is tailored to you. You do whatever you want on that journal. So if you want to use colors, you can use different color pencils, markers. If you're really angry, you want to make the words humongous, you can do that. If you are feeling shy, you want to make the words really small, you can do that. If you're so upset and you just let out your anger and you say, you know what, I don't want to deal with this, and then you could just tear it up little by little by little. It's actually a way to let go. it really, really helps that, you know what, I've put these feelings out and I'm going to destroy them because I don't want them haunting me anymore. And that's actually puts you in a whole new psychological space because you destroy those feelings for yourself, but you can't destroy them unless you let them out. And journaling and breaking the page could do that. Or even you do it on the internet and you just backspace, on Word and backspace one by one, right? One by one. Instead of just hitting it so it all disappears, maybe one by one. And that alone could help you feel better.
No, yeah, I definitely agree, especially when it comes to anger. That's a good one because a lot of people have the misconception that anger is a negative feeling or a bad feeling. No, anger is a feeling, just like sadness is a feeling, happiness is a feeling. So it is healthy, guys, to express anger. But if you can express it in a way that doesn't hurt anyone, like tearing a page, that's going to be so therapeutic and you were able to release that. It's kind of like, again, you do what works for you, or just screaming outside, like, oh my God, I'm so angry, but in the page, maybe that could work for you for sure. Okay. So again, these are just some strategies that you guys can implement. Again, you choose which ones you like or which ones you would like to explore. Now, another one that I really, really do like that's quick and easy is grounding techniques.
So grounding techniques are things that you can do to bring yourself down, right? We all feel emotions, like just like Miss Jimenez says. We wouldn't be humans if we didn't. We all get angry, we'll all get sad, we'll all get happy, we'll all get distracted, we feel all types of emotions. Sometimes you'll feel lonely, even when we have a house full of people. Sometimes we feel lonely, and that's okay because that's a feeling. But there's certain things that are a little higher than others that tend to that maybe it's okay to feel sad, but then when you feel like, oh, I don't want to do anything, that when you catch yourself that you're in that place, then it's time to ground yourself. What can I do to bring myself back to being me, right? Because you want to feel like yourself. So this is a little unorthodox, right? You can lay on the ground, either on your bed, on the floor, outside on your grass, and notice how your body meets the floor. And just feeling the different texture against your back, that could really make a difference and really bring you down, right? Grounding, being on the floor, kind of like, Another one is squeezing a stress ball. It's so cliche. You think, oh, like a stress ball, what is it going to do? But it really does, because it brings your focus to that. How does this feel? Playing with Play-Doh, playing with slime, and pay attention how that feels. Because for grounding, it's good to incorporate your senses. So your sight, your touch, your hearing, your taste, your smell. Incorporating your senses is really what brings you back to the now, to the what's happening to me. Another thing you could do, incorporating your senses, could be listening to your favorite song, because you're incorporating your hearing, or eating something you like, eating an apple, eating peanut butter, anything that you like, and just actually paying attention, because it's not the fact of eating, because I personally do, I stress eat. So it's not about just eating because you're feeling upset, but actually when you choose to eat something, pay attention to how that tastes. Pay attention to how that feels in your mouth. Pay attention to the sounds that makes. You could observe an object. So for example, I have an apple right here. So pay attention to what color is this apple? Does it have different colors? So what colors are they? Does it have a different texture? If you see, it has like little lines. Pay attention to those lines. Pay attention to the lines going down. Pay attention to everything on that apple. How does it feel? Does it feel soft? Does it feel hard? Do you smell anything? Do you smell the apple? notice anything. Oh, look, it has a sticker, right? That's something that you can notice. It has a sticker. What does it say on the sticker? So just pay attention to any object. Really, you could do it with a cup, you could do it with the phone, you could do it with the apple, you could do it with anything that you have in front of you, and that's the beauty of that. Another one is breathing. Sometimes when we're upset, especially, right, any high emotions, we forget to breathe. We really do. We forget to breathe. So the 4-7-8 is a good exercise to do because it brings you back to yourself, right? So you inhale for 4, you hold your breath for 7, and you exhale for 8. So don't, that doesn't do the count, right? So you inhale for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you hold it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you do a long exhale. Don't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you repeat for as long as you find it necessary. So this is something that you can do quickly. It doesn't take hours. It doesn't take half an hour. You could do that in a matter of 2 minutes, and you could really bring yourself back, especially like if you're stressing during a test. Oh snap! Like I thought I prepared and I don't feel prepared because one thing we need to keep in mind is that the brain works in a certain way where one part of your brain contains your emotions and another part of your brain contains your rationale. So when you're highly emotional, you're not thinking. So if you feel scared, let's say you're in a test and you're like, oh snap, this is not what I studied for, and you start freaking out, then that means you're not thinking. So you're putting yourself at a disadvantage because how could you do well on your test when you're freaking out? So maybe doing that breathing exercise could bring you back to the moment where you're no longer freaking out, where yeah, you could be a little scared. And I mean, it's normal to be a little scared, but you could still bring your attention or highlight or turn on the part of your brain that actually contains rationale so you could think clearly. Or maybe you're in arguing, or maybe your boyfriend, your girlfriend pissed you off and you want to say something, because I know we've all been there where we get so upset that we say things that we regret, or even after an argument and we're like, oh dang, I wish I would have said this, I wish I would have said that, because you wasn't thinking as clear as you were at that time when you're saying that, because you're no longer emotional, so you could think better, right? Because it's 2 different parts of the brain. So these are things that will bring you to that stability where you could think rationally, where you can make better choices.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I personally recommend this, especially for anxiety. I know that, anxiety has been so high, in a lot of situations that we've encountered. And I think that even that test taking one, that is something that I've definitely practiced, because, yeah, taking a test is very, nerve wracking, especially tests where you have to get certified and you have to pay a lot of money. Like when I became a teacher, I had to take a test that was about almost $300. I felt so much pressure on myself that I was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot on the line. If I fail, I'm gonna lose out on this money and I have to retake the test. So there was a point where I was like, I need to calm myself down because I feel anxious. I feel very nervous. So the one that worked for me at that time was the breathing one, especially just in and out, taking little restroom breaks, things like that. But grounding techniques specifically, that's what they're designed to do, to bring you back to the now when you know you're feeling those high emotions. And again, especially with anxiety, like you feel yourself like in a public place, like you're at a mall, you're at HEB, and you feel, nervous. You can feel your palms sweating. Your body will tell you when your emotions are getting high also. So if you can incorporate these, and you self-soothe, you regulate your emotions right there in the moment, that is going to bring you back and help you. Okay, now I can continue with my shopping, or now I can continue doing what I was doing. So again, this is a quick way for you guys to come back. And like I said, I do have a worksheet for everything, to be honest with you. Again, that's like the teacher in me, I think. So let me share that quickly with you. Let me go back. Let me see here. Oh. Oh, my computer's freaking out. Hold on. Give me a quick second, guys. Sorry about that.
Well, when Ms. Jimenez gets the worksheet, I wanted to just follow up on what she was saying, right? She said going out, especially after being locked in for so long. I know a lot of people have continued to go out, but there's so many that have stayed in. So going outside, being in public places can give you anxiety, right? And one of the things that I posted here was distract yourself. There's so many ways to distract yourself. So some things I put was counting by fours. That could be a good distraction where, you know what, like you go to HEB and you're like, you know what, let me just sit there for a minute and start counting. Or it could be looking at the floor. How many squares do you see? Let's say from here to the end of the hallway. If you're in an office, for example, you're waiting for some results or whatever, there's events everywhere. Look at the vents. How many lines does it have in the vents? Or really just counting anything. There's always the joke, oh, count sheep when you go to sleep, right? And there's a joke about it, but there's some truth to it. Counting really helps. It helps you ground yourself. So distract yourself by doing that. If you see there's any place where there's lines, where there's squares, where there's, there's books, count how many books are there. How many notebooks, or even when, like we mentioned about the test, the observation, look at your pencil. There's so many things that you could just take into account that you have in front of you that you could use to help you. You just need to pay attention.
Yeah, so the worksheet wasn't able to open, but basically what I wanted to touch on was the senses. That is something also that I found is very effective, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So look at 5 things you see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can taste and smell, so again, you can definitely incorporate that, something easy, simple to bring you back to the now. Okay. And of course, mindfulness. This is, again, my mero mole. To be honest with you, I really, really do like this technique because, again, I like things that are easy, quick. And this does take a little bit of practice. I'm not going to lie to you because sometimes we think of just sitting there as, just sitting there. But it is hard to sit there with your thoughts that are racing, or you can't, but that's part of the process, paying attention to those thoughts. It's not necessarily turning off thoughts and just sitting there and going, no, it's way, way more than that. So I know Miss Susie will elaborate a little bit more on this too.
But we all have a misconception. Mindfulness means meditation. So you're sitting there like Buddha with your arms like this and just, that's not mindfulness, right? Another misconception is that whenever we meditate, then our mind is clear. So whenever we try to meditate and we realize that our mind is always going, then we think we're doing it wrong. But we're not, because our mind never stops. And it's important to realize this, to listen to this. Our mind never stops. So whenever we accomplish this sense of mindfulness, of this sense of whatever you want to call it, right, is that you are aware of what you're thinking. So really, that's the goal, is to be in tune with yourself, to be aware of your here and now. So what is it that you're thinking about? So the goal is not to stop thinking, because that's impossible to achieve as long as you're alive. If you're dead, then, you're not going to think. But as long as you're alive, you're always going to be thinking. So the goal is not to stop, is to know what you're thinking. Because a lot of times we're upset, we could be anxious and we have no idea why. Sometimes we feel angry and we have no idea why. Sometimes we feel sad and we have no idea why. It's because we're not mindful of ourselves. So by doing mindfulness, by meditating, we learn to be in tune with ourselves. We learn about ourselves. So by sitting there with your thoughts and you see your mind tells you, she should not have said that to you. This is literally what your mind would say. She should not have said that to you. You forgot to wash the dishes. You have a paper tomorrow and you haven't started on it. But how dare she say that? So now you realize that the recurring thought is that someone said something that you felt disrespected. So with that in mind, then you say, you know what? Now I know why I'm upset. Now I know why I'm mad. I'm mad at her. I'm mad at the way that she made me feel, or the way I feel because of her reaction. Right? So by being mindful, you realize, okay, well, this is why I'm upset. It's not about stopping the thought of why you're mad, but more of realizing why you're mad. So then you can actually take action to help yourself. At the end of this, the presentation, I'm going to do a small mindfulness practice with you guys. And it's going to be like Ms. Jimenez mentioned, how gratitude really helps you. So it's going to be a small mindfulness, gratefulness exercise, just so you could get an idea of what it is. Because again, the misconception is in order to do mindfulness, you have to sit there for an hour. Well, it's not, you could. You could sit there for 8 hours to do mindfulness, but you could also do it for 30 minutes. You could also do it for 10 minutes. You could also do it for 2 minutes. It's really up to you and what you need at the time. So I'll do a small 3 to 5 minute exercise just so you could get a sense of what it is, and you could take it from there.
Yes, no, and what I posted on here is a YouTube video that personally, these are my favorite. I don't know if you ever heard of that app on Apple, and I think it's on Android too, Calm. Oh my gosh, there's so many videos on mindfulness and meditating, and guys, they're 10 to 15 minutes. Again, I know a lot of us work, we have families, we have all kinds of responsibilities, A through Z. But again, it's that time that we take for ourselves. I like to do this personally at the beginning of my day, just 10 minutes to just be with myself, be with my thoughts. And, that kind of sets the tone of the day when I do this because, I get to choose the thoughts that I'm having, and that's another thing about controlling emotions and thoughts. That is completely up to us. So the way you get better at it is if you practice. So by me doing this on a daily basis in the morning and even on weekends, like just a really quick 10 minutes, and then I can get started with my day, that has helped me personally a lot. And I recommend it to anybody, just again, taking that time, because Susie's right. There's some that are hours long, an hour long, but again, you do what works for your timeline, for your plan. Okay, so this is something that you can incorporate. Or if you're having a hard time sleeping, I know that a lot of people do use this too to kind of, okay, unwind from the day. Like this is, what am I thinking about? Yes, I'm thinking about all the lists that I have to do tomorrow, but I'm also thinking about, what things that happen throughout the day, or yeah, my thoughts and my feelings and how I'm calm. And I love the music. So that really helps a lot too, that it just creates this environment where you're at peace. So I really, really do recommend these videos too. And again, especially that one, the Be Present, it's my favorite one, hands down.
We talked about de-escalation a few minutes ago, and I wanted to include this just so you could get an idea of, because we hear, we talk de-escalation, but what's escalation, right? So this is an outline of escalation. So pretty much it means this is the process. So you're calm. So like right now, you're calm, you're chilling, you're listening to us. And then we say something that triggers something in you, maybe a memory, or you could be in your car and you listen to a song that trigger a memory. So you start feeling agitated. Then you start accelerating. It could also be like, you could just be on social media, just scrolling by, and then you see a happy couple, and then you just had a recent breakup. And then it brings you back to how lonely you feel. And it starts at, you start feeling uncomfortable, you start feeling the agitation until it gets to a point where it's like, shoot, like I feel really lonely. And you start, it gets worse and worse until you get to a peak. And then that's when you realize, you know what, like I need to de-escalate. However, this is how it goes, right? When you get to like the worst and then you start going down. However, you could de-escalate at any point. And that's when mindfulness come into play. So once you realize that you're being triggered, you could do something to de-escalate yourself. You don't need to have a panic attack to then de-escalate. You don't have to be at the full acceleration. You could just be at the beginning of the acceleration and then say, you know what, like I need to de-escalate because I don't like the way this is going. When you start feeling like you're shaking, when you start feeling that you're sweating, when you start feeling that, like that rush in your blood, that could be, like paying attention to yourself is crucial. Being mindful of yourself is crucial, because that's when you realize, you know what, like I need to de-escalate. Right? So this is pretty much how it goes. And some of the things that you could do to help de-escalate is pause, right? Just think of the word pause. So what do? You pay attention to your body, right? Just like I mentioned, you start sweating. You notice this. Your blood start rushing. You notice this. You find your heart beating faster. So pay attention to your body and then assess what's activating you. Like point out your trigger. What is it that did this to me? Right? And understand why. Or at least try. You don't always, you're not always going to be successful, but at least try to think of what was it, like, what was it that seeing a couple together made me feel lonely? Is it because I miss being in a relationship? Is it because I feel guilty about leaving my ex? What is the root of that problem? And set boundaries for yourself. So, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to follow this person on Instagram for a while. Separate yourself. So if it's someone that upset you, maybe just leave the room, because being away from that person that triggered you could be the difference. Or, you know what? I'm not going to listen to this artist right now. So maybe change the station, change the music. So pretty much separate yourself and empathize with those involved. So the person that posted the video of them as a couple, oh, you know what? They just want to show support. They're proud of each other. Empathize with them. Don't feel like, oh, they're doing it so they could make me feel like shit. Because chances are they're not doing it to intentionally hurt you. So empathize with them. Now, if you realize that someone near you needs de-escalation, so respect their space and respect your tone. Well, pay attention to your tone. So if someone is angry, maybe don't get too close to them. Maybe don't speak so loud. Maybe don't speak so fast, because it can be taken like you're triggering them more, right? So really pay attention to how you say things. And stay calm, because sometimes someone's angry and they say hurtful things. So stay calm, realize that they're not thinking rationally, because remember what I said before, when a part of your brain that's highly emotional, then the part of the brain that thinks is not active at all. So realize, stay calm, know that they're not doing it on purpose. They're not trying to hurt you. They just hurt, right? Or they're angry or whatever it is. So stay calm and identify their feelings, right? Identify their feelings and their wants. Maybe they want attention. Maybe they feel lonely. Maybe they feel that you try to hurt them, or whatever it may be. So try to identify what it is that they want and what it is that they're feeling. And agree or agree to disagree. Right? So like maybe they're saying, oh, you know what? You said this to me and you just try to hurt me. Maybe you can say, you know what? Like, don't try to rationalize, because it's not going to work. They're not thinking, right? That's why they need to de-escalate. So say, you know what? That's not the case, but we'll talk later. Or, you know what? I understand that you feel like that. Or I'm sorry that you feel like that. Right? Because this is not the time to rationalize. Later, when they calm down, then you could talk about it calmly. And set clear boundaries. So pretty much, even though they're mad, it's not okay for them to disrespect you. And that's where the boundaries come in. Yeah, you want to de-escalate them, but still you have to set your boundaries. You know, like, yeah, I understand you're mad, but do not talk to me that way. Or I understand you're sad, but or whatever it is that works for you, right? Or that you feel works for you at the time, and debrief, you know, like talk to them like, you know, you said this and this happened, you know, or more like someone says something to you when you feel upset and you feel disrespected, you know, and I could see why that would be difficult for you. I know that doesn't feel fair to you. I know you feel mad or irritated or angry or sad. You know, I could see that. Or I know that was, you know, I could see how scary that is. I know this is hard for you, but I'm listening. I'm here for you. I will help you work it out. You know, these are things that you could say to them, but just make sure you don't say something that you don't mean. Don't say, I'm listening, or I'm here to listen to you if you're not willing to listen. Because that's just gonna make the situation worse. I will help you work it out. Say that as long as you're willing to help them work it out. Another thing you could say is, oh, you know what? I have some resources that you can use. You're not alone. That is something you can say, and something you can even follow through, because we are going to give you those resources that you could provide if you're not willing to be there, because sometimes that could be a trigger for you. And like we mentioned before, you don't always have to say yes.
Yeah, so I think that's really important. And I think this kind of ties into when there's a crisis, whether it's with yourself or others, and specifically with others. Again, make sure you get the help that you need. You know, dial 911 if it is an emergency, guys. There are, and I mean, if it's not, you know, to that point, again, yes, we are going to be sharing resources with you guys, again, because you're going to do what works for you. But yes, in crisis, this is also a good way to, you know, kind of, you know, make sure that the situation is okay until you get that help that you're needing. Okay. And especially if it's an emergency or, like I mentioned, a crisis. Okay. So,
You know, and when talking about crisis, I suggest that you don't leave them alone.
Yeah.
And crisis means there's a threat to someone's safety. That will be a crisis. Ms. Jimenez, can you go back for a minute to the last slide? No, the next one. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I would like for everyone to turn on their microphone. Annalisa, where you at? Alyssa, I'm calling you guys out. I would like for you guys to turn on your microphone. David?
I'm here.
Sorry, I'm a host.
Thank you, guys. I'm just calling you out, making sure you guys are awake. Okay, so I want you to read the screen. Look, well, first, look at yourself. Or at least your name, since your cameras are off. I want you to look at yourself. Or look at your name, and I want you to read that aloud. So I'm gonna count to 3, and I want everybody to read it. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
You are not
We're not
alone.
alone.
We're not alone.
I want you to say it 3 more times, looking at your name, telling it to yourself. 1, 2, 3.
You are not
We're not
alone.
alone.
No,
Again.
You are not alone.
you're not alone.
We're not alone.
Okay, and the last time?
You are not alone.
You're not alone.
You are not alone. Thank you, guys. You can turn off your mics.
No, yes. So, because we're getting ready to close up in just a second, but yes, that is very important and true when we're sharing our resources. Okay, so again, you are not alone in this. All right. Now, What I quickly wanted to share, because again, I say to work smarter, not harder. That's another phrase that I use a lot. So use these apps that you can download for free on your phone. If you want to take a second to take a screenshot of some of these, and that way you can, explore on your own time which ones could work for you. And again, I like that some of them are specifically by exactly what you're needing, whether it's, to sleep, you want to look for a support group, self-care, even finance, because I know finances are also something that worries many of us right now. So again, these apps, most of them are for free. Some of them you might have to pay a subscription, but I tried to choose ones that I knew for sure that are easy to download and easy, to figure out. There's nothing too complicated. So again, I highly recommend, again, using our phones wisely, especially during these times. Yes, social media is a great distraction, but also using your phone as a resource, as a tool, again, to get, some things that can help you in the long run. Okay, and these specific resources right here are related to here in Texas. Okay, so a lot of these, I'm going to show you where you can find them on the junior college website, but these are just some of them here. So again, if you're in a crisis, the suicide hotline, okay? Now I know some of you, I've noticed, especially younger people, don't like to call. So, you're intimidated by making that phone call. And if you're already in a vulnerable place, the one I really, really recommend is a crisis text line. This is you just texting a crisis counselor immediately if you're feeling, again, unwell, or you know of somebody that's going through a crisis, contact them. I've heard such good feedback from that group, and it's all over the US and actually all over the world. But again, it's a free resource that you can contact at any time, or you can have it saved on your phone, for you, or in case of an emergency, for someone else. So again, these are resources that you can have at your disposal that are specifically, in Texas that you can find here. Okay. Now, like I said, Miss Susie, she is, yes, the one of the managers at the clinic. So she's going to talk a little bit about, what resources are available with Sul Ross Rio Grande College.
Okay, so just a few minutes ago, we talked about how you're not alone, right? In fact, 1 of 3 people suffer from mental health at one point of their lives, right? There's actually a quote by Michelle Obama where she mentions the brain, the knee, the heart, the arm are all body parts. So if you get sick from any of them, right, there's really no distinction. But as a society, we have a stigma against mental health. Oh, if you've seen a therapist, you're crazy. Or, oh, you're taking medication. Oh, that's because you're crazy. And we have that engraved in us since we're born, right? Since we're born, since we're growing up, we hear, oh, that person's seeing a psychiatrist, they're crazy. Oh, that person's seeing a therapist, they're crazy. But in fact, the brain is a part of the body, just like the heart, just like the arm, just like your leg. So if you break your leg, they don't say you're crazy, but it's you got hurt, right? They just got hurt. If you have pancreatitis, you suffer from pancreas. You're not crazy, you got hurt. Or you have an illness. If you have diabetes, you have an illness. If you have a heart condition, you have an illness. But guess what? If you have depression, you also have an illness. If you have anxiety, you also have an illness. And this is some of the things that counseling can help with. Not with a broken leg, right? Because you got a broken leg, you go to a broken foot, you go to a podiatrist. Or orthopedic, you have broken bone, you go to an orthopedic doctor, right? There's different people for different things, and counseling is for the brain. No different than anything else. And this is why we're here, right? So the Sul Ross has a community counseling clinic, which I manage, which I help manage, like I mentioned earlier. And there's some things that we can help, right? So who needs counseling? In fact, anyone could use counseling. So like if you need clarity in some type of your life, you could benefit from counseling. If you're going through a difficult time, you could benefit from counseling. If you're working through a traumatic experience, you could benefit from counseling. If you want some personal growth, you could benefit from counseling. If you want techniques to help you cope with things that you're going through, you could benefit from counseling. If you have constant negative thoughts, you could benefit from counseling. If you realize that you keep going into the same type of relationships, you could benefit from counseling, because in fact, you cannot fix something that you don't know is broken. A lot of times we don't realize that we've experienced trauma. Sometimes we don't realize what choices we're making, but we realize that we keep getting into this either toxic friendships, toxic relationships, that we keep doing the same thing that leaves us feeling empty, feeling insufficient, feeling inadequate, feeling lonely. There's so many things that we do, and we keep doing it and doing it and doing it. We don't realize why. It's like, I need to change. Maybe I get a different, I look for something different, and ultimately it results in the same thing, because whatever it is that's psychologically that is making you make that choice, you haven't fixed it yet. So it's hard to change the patterns when one, you don't even know what the pattern is, right? So it's sort of like your bike stops working, or your car stops working, and you say, you know what, maybe it's the tire, I changed the tire, but it's still the same problem. So you change certain things, but because you're not a mechanic, you don't know what's wrong. So maybe just going to counseling, or like going to the mechanic for the car, will help you figure out what it is that's wrong, so you could properly fix what needs to be fixed. Because otherwise you're making efforts. I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna share the link for you guys to register, okay? So what is offered at the counseling clinic is free counseling services, okay? So again, Miss Susie is, again, she's very, very helpful, and she can help you guys, navigate through the registration process if it's something that you have questions about, okay? So let me make sure to put that in the chat in case any of you wanna save it. Give me a quick second. Let me see here, to everyone in the meeting. Here we go. Okay, so if you see that, that is the direct link to register for counseling services. And again, this is for free, guys. So, and this is available in all 3 sites. This is not just for Eagle Pass. This is in Eagle Pass, Del Rio, Uvalde, and actually all over Texas. And I know that when I was speaking to Susie recently, she actually is seeing, they're seeing some clients from Mexico, from Piedras, our neighboring border towns. So yes, counseling is also offered in English and in Spanish. And this is specifically for adults seeking counseling, okay? So this is, again, an amazing resource because you do not have to provide any insurance information. It is for free. It is for you. And again, what I like about the services that they offer is that it's telehealth, meaning you don't have to go into an office, or you don't have to come to campus. You do it on your own time, over the phone or on a laptop. Okay, and then you choose a designated time that works for you. So it's very private, and confidentiality is key. If you don't know what confidentiality is, it's basically, it is private 100%. As counselors, that is our number one, vow. It has to be confidential. We cannot discuss with anyone what happened during a session. The only time we can disclose information is for safety purposes. If you state that you're going to hurt someone, or of somebody that's going to hurt someone else, or there is a situation with a minor that could cause harm, then yes, we do legally have to report. But I mean, if you tell us about personal, intimate details about your life, no, that is not shared with anyone. Okay, so please, even if it's not here at the community clinic, just know that that is an oath that counselors take. Confidentiality is our lifeline to be able to do what we do. Okay, So please make sure that, you know, if you are interested in seeking these services, this is a great resource that you can access. Okay, so now what I also wanted to share was on the junior college webpage. We do also have resources by location from Del Rio, Eagle Pass, and Uvalde. Okay, and this is where you find it. All right, you have to go directly to right here. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, that it redirected me to this page. But yes, you can have anything from Del Rio. It is listed here. Eagle Pass and Uvalde. Okay, so these are resources that are at your disposal, guys. So again, I do want to make sure to share that with you where you can find everything in case you need it later on down the line. Now, if you have any questions about any resources, or Ms. Jimenez, I know you talked about this during the seminar, you know, where can I find it? I am here to help you, and actually any advisor at any of the sites. You know, that's what we're here for. If you need a resource, we will be able to get that to you. You guys, all you have to do is reach out. And lastly, I do want to end with this quote about mental health, okay? So again, mental health is not a destination, but a process. And sometimes it's a lifelong process, or sometimes, you know, it's for a specific, you know, an event that happened in your life. But again, it is a process. It's not something that we can just, you know, fix like that. It doesn't work like that. So I hope that we've given you tools to be able to, you know, navigate through whatever it is that you are going through, or, you know, you just notice, you know, some things that are going on, and hopefully some of these strategies can help you with that, or seeking services, you know, like I said, to get help for yourself or, you know, for others. So I just want to thank everybody for coming today. And I really, really do appreciate you being here. And yeah, just feel free to reach out. Thank you so much, Susie. I really appreciate you being here with me. And if you guys have any questions, email me, contact me. We are here for you guys. Okay.
Yes, but before you leave, let's not forget, we're going to do a small practice. So I want
Yes,
you to
let's
just
practice.
get comfortable, not too comfortable you could fall asleep. You know, straight back, feet on the ground, and your hands on your lap. Now I want you to close your eyes. Again, this is just gonna be a few minutes. So I want you to just get in touch with yourself for a little bit. So we're gonna start with 3 cleansing breaths. And we're gonna do the 4, 7, 8. So we're going to inhale for 4. So inhale, hold it. And we're going to exhale. We're going to do it again. Inhale for 4. Hold it. And exhale. One more time. Inhale for 4. Hold it. And exhale for 8. Now I want you to think of one person that you're grateful for. Who is this person? What is their relationship to you? Why are you thankful for them? And then I want you to think of a place you are thankful for. Is it your bedroom? Is it your house? Is it your job? Is it your school? Any particular place that you're thankful for? And why? Now I want you to think of a food you are thankful for. Is it pancakes? Is it bread? Is it tortillas? Is it steak? Fajitas? Chicken? What food are you thankful for? And think of why. Now I want you to mention a thing you are grateful for. Are you grateful for a phone? For a computer? Are you grateful for a stove? Are you grateful for your bed? Anything that you are grateful for. And why? Now I want you to think of anything you are grateful for. Are you grateful because my voice is so soothing? Are you grateful that Ms. Jimenez created this seminar? Are you grateful that you're going to school? Are you grateful that you live at home? Are you grateful that you didn't lose your electricity when the storm hit? Are you grateful that you have the opportunity to go to school? What is what is a thing that you're grateful for? Anything. And why? Now I want you to think of how you feel to know that you have all these things in your life. Now I just want you to slowly open your eyes. Very short, very effective. And that is all for me.
Thank you so much, Susie. And no, I know those always make me a little bit sleepy. I don't know about y'all. But no, thank you so much for coming. And I really appreciate it. Again, if you guys need to reach out to the counseling clinic, Susie is your girl. Okay. She is going to be the best resource to reach out to. And like I said, thank you so much for coming, everyone. I really do appreciate you being
You're
here.
welcome, Ms. Jimenez. Thank you for inviting me. And thank you guys for staying with us the whole time.
Thank you, Karina. Thank you, Susie. That was an awesome presentation.
Thank you, Teresa.